What a collapse by the San Jose Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite lovable losers. I'm JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day, even when they blow a 3-goal lead in the third, only to lose in overtime. Even when they've had a game. They've led in a game for 5 straight games but have still lost. Even if they've lost 8 straight games, we've got you covered here at Locked On Sharks. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just listen wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And wow. Yeah, we're going to talk about this and process this because this was, yeah. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to dig into numbers. Then we're going to, at the end of the show, talk about some of the trade rumblings. But this felt like this game was going to kind of be like the last hurrah. You know, we with the trade deadline on Friday. The Sharks do one more game on Thursday, but you know, this felt like it was going to be Anthony Duclair's kind of last hurrah in San Jose. You know, Duclair, just an absolute amazing night tonight, right? 2 goals, 2 assists, was like half an inch away from getting a hat trick. Like it kind of felt like, you know what, we're gonna go out, at least if things, you know, we're gonna go out on try to go out on a win, end this losing streak, have some fun, at least give something exciting before this team gets ripped apart by the trade deadline. And as it has been with the Sharks this year, is we just can't have nice things. As the Sharks have now lost 8 in a row. Duclair in the post-game presser just looked like despondent, like unconsolable, just crushed by this game. And he said it was worse than the 10-1, 10-2 losses, which is saying something. That this game where you had a 3-goal lead midway through the third, right? Yeah, they scored. Yeah, about midway through the third. Over midway through the third, you had a 3-goal lead, and then you proceed to give up 3 goals in about 3 minutes time. I've watched a lot of bad hockey this year. Anybody who's followed this show for a while, we watched a lot of bad, like, right? I've covering the Sharks, covering the Barracuda. I've watched more Blackhawk games than I want to admit. This is like the crazy thing is like they didn't even play that bad yet. Like we'll dig into the numbers here. And like the Sharks were very much a quality over quantity in this game. Like they didn't get a lot of shot attempts and stuff, but they were picking their spots and they were getting really good chances and making the most of them. But in the most That's So Sharks thing ever, you can't hold on to a 3-goal lead. And there's plenty of blame to go around between the defense, the goaltending, just everything, right? Taking your foot off again, even taking your foot off. You had a 3-goal lead with less than 15 minutes left. Like, yeah. But the silver lining, the Sharks and Blackhawks are now tied with 37 points. The Sharks do have 2 games in hand. So by percentage points, the Blackhawks still lead, but points-wise, the Sharks and Blackhawks are tied. The Blackhawks don't play again until Saturday after the trade deadline, and the Sharks do play on Thursday. So Yeah, that is the silver lining. This is we're right there, but yeah, this was just it was a collapse, and this what to be expected from the Sharks team, right? Is this team has just kind of done this all years. Anytime things go bad, they go catastrophically bad, and that's just kind of that's been the Sharks for the past couple of years, right? Is anytime anything goes bad, it just goes catastrophically bad, and that was tonight, right? So yeah, I'm gonna miss Anthony Duclair. We'll see if he plays on Thursday. I assume he'll probably play on Thursday night if he doesn't get traded by then. But I fully expect him to be gone. We'll talk about the trades here in a little bit, but at the end of the show. But yeah, it's just hard to kind of wrap your head around this game because I was going to go into this first segment as like such a celebration of like yeah, this year's been tough, but we've gotten some really fun moments here and there. But no, we don't even have fun moments here and there because this team just continues to be putrid and collapse at any possible time. So, but again, eyes on the prize, looking for that number one overall pick, putting yourself in the best position. And tonight, the Sharks took a big step in doing that. The other big news, of course, William Eklund was hurt at the very, very end of the game. He blocked a shot. He was out there on one leg as, in overtime. Of course, the puck goes in the back of the net. No update on Eklund right now because it was, yeah, there's no update on Eklund right now. We'll see. The hope is it just, maybe kind of lost. It might have hit like right above the kneecap and maybe he has a bruise or like maybe just kind of lost feeling in his leg there, which, maybe like almost like a Charlie horse. That's what we're hoping for, right? That's the hope is he's back at practice tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. That's the hope. But the worst thing would be like if it's actual like damage from blocking a shot there. But the hope is again, he did need help coming off. We saw Zetterlund need help coming off. He was back in the game. Eklund's a tough kid, so the hope is maybe is Charlie horse or something. But the fact that we had no updates a little worrisome. And if the Sharks are without Eklund, and potentially soon, Duclair or Grant, like the Sharks could be really ugly here at the end of the season. So, but yeah, at least Duclair was really cool and scored 2 goals, and Zetterlund had a goal, and Philip Zadina had a goal. Like it felt like there was going to be a lot of really fun, positive things to talk about. But when you blow a game like that, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. It's almost like unbelievable at this point. That this team finds ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory as they've done multiple times this year. And there's a really, really good chance that they are going to have 3 10-game losing streaks this season. So they play the Islanders on Thursday. The Islanders are fighting tooth and nail to get into the playoffs here. They're on the outside looking in. I think they're one of the last. I think they are. I'm pulling up the NHL standings right now. They are. They are currently 4 points back of the Lightning with 2 games to play. They are they are the like last man or the first man out right now. So these 2 points are very important to them. Then the Sharks do play the Senators on Saturday. The Senators have been a hot mess themselves. But like if they lose those 2 games, that is three 10-game losing streaks in a single season. And the way this team is playing right now, like especially if the trade deadline goes well for San Jose, this team is going to be something on when it comes to Saturday's game and beyond. So we'll dig into the numbers here in a minute and talk about kind of where this went wrong in the third period and kind of look at how the Sharks first two periods were really good and the third period fell apart. We'll look at the forward lines, Kaapo Kahkonen tonight, and then we'll get caught up on the latest trade rumblings. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. I know this season has been brutal for Sharks fans, but regardless of their current standings, I want to remind you that you can still win big by playing Daily Fantasy Hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleepers are our number one choice for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All you have to do is pick some of your favorite players, whether they're NHL superstars like McDavid, Crosby, or McKinnon, or some of your favorite Sharks like Granlund, Eklund, or Duclair, and record more or less than their sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in a given game. To win 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Sharks fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. Did you know that if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood is the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you can contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to the IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of the first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% match on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker dealer. I still can't believe they lost that game. I'm literally sat here stunned for like 5 minutes. Could not believe they lost that game. Okay, let's get into the numbers. So 53-46 of 5v5. A lot of penalties in the first, and then the whistles got kind of put away in this game. And both teams did really well in the power play. The Sharks went 2 for 4. Dallas went 2 for 3. And even one of the Sharks 2 for 4 was cut down short because of the 4-on-4. Granlund called a really sketchy penalty, but anyway. So Corsi 4, 66-02 to 33-98 in favor of the Stars. 68 to 35 shot attempts. Of course, actual shots 36 to 15 in favor of the Stars. Total shots was 40 to 20 in favor of the Stars in this game. Scoring chances 26 to 19 in favor of the Stars. High danger chances 11 to 10 in favor of the Stars. This is all 5v5. And then expected goals for 2.87 to 1.47 in favor of the Stars. Interesting thing is that third period where the Stars just took it to the Sharks. Because like in the first two periods, the Sharks had way more scoring chances. The Sharks had 15 scoring chances in the first two periods compared to the Stars 12. High danger chances, it was 8 to 3 in favor of the Sharks. And again, the shots were definitely more in favor of the Stars in this game throughout the entire game. But the Sharks were just getting better opportunities and kind of making the most of them. Expected goals for in the first two periods was in favor of the Sharks, but that third period, the Stars kind of showed why they are worthy of being a potential Stanley Cup, contender. 31-7 shot attempts in favor of the Stars. 14-5 actual shots, 14-4 scoring chances, 8-2 high danger chances, 1.95 to 0.47 expected goals for. And the thing is, like, the Stars didn't have to pull their goalie. That's the crazy part. This was all 5-on-5. Like, they didn't have to pull their goalie. There was no power play. This was just them 5v5. Just just insane. And like the thing that's gonna stick with me in this game is the like Duclair. Granlund has it's like Duclair and Zetterlund kind of on a bit of a rush, and Granlund passes it back to Duclair. And Duclair, I think the defenseman did a really good job of getting a stick in there, but Duclair is like just as close to missing a hat trick. And you see on the bench, Granlund kind of giving Duclair a hard time, just, messing around with him, right? And it was just kind of this nice relief of like, of just kind of, especially this season, right? This season's been so hard for all these guys. And both these guys have been having pretty good, been having really nice seasons. And just, like Granlund kind of giving him a hard time, and Duclair just kind of shaking his head and like kind of laughing. If he scores there, like, they probably win. And then we're talking about a Duclair hat trick and 5-point night for Duclair and all this stuff. But they don't. So, just that third period, and the Sharks just unable. This is when we talk about like just the Sharks unable to kind of create sustained. Like, if the Sharks just have a couple of good shifts, maybe they give up one of the goals, right? And then they just respond and have a couple good shifts. But no, it's just like Dallas kind of about halfway through that game, halfway through the third period, just put their foot on the gas, and there was nothing that the Sharks could do. They just had no response for that. So, for the forward lines tonight, we had Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair played 13-43, 6 shot attempts, gave up 14. 5-8 actual shots, had 2 goals, of course, 0.32 to 0.2 expected goals for, 2-3 scoring chances, 2-1 high danger chances, 5, 10, 12 defensive zone starts. That's a lot of defensive zone starts. So Barabanov, Sturm, Bailey played 11-52, 9-14 shot attempts, 2-8 actual shots, 0 goals, didn't allow any, 0.3 to 0.2 expected goals. And then 4-3 scoring chances for, 2-1 high danger chances, 2-5-5 zone starts. Kahkonen, Eklund, Zadina played 11-40, 8-22 shot attempts, 3-10 actual shots, gave up 2 goals, 0.2 to 0.74 expected goals. And then 5-7 scoring chances, 2-2 high danger chances, 5-3-6 zone starts. So that line right there, if that, I know Zadina it was kind of in the middle of a shift change there when Zadina got his goal. Good for Zadina, matching his career high in goals with 10. I don't see why Zadina, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, and especially if Duclair gets traded and Zadina continues to maybe get more ice time, maybe look on the power play. Like, Zadina has a real chance, I think, of hitting 15 goals this year, which would be outstanding. But this line, though, like, they're going to have to work at continuing to kind of create sustainable offense, right? And that's kind of a big word that we use, is sustainability. The structure is such a rush oriented of kind of that being counterpunch. That's kind of how they've had to score a lot of their goals, because they're so talent poor. But this is what happens, right? If you're not getting those opportunities, you're usually getting stuck in your own zone. And that this line got stuck in their own zone a lot tonight. The Hoffman, Carpenter, Giovanni Smith line, 5-43, 2-4 shot attempts. Actual shots was 0-3. Did give up a goal, 1-2 scoring chances, 1 high danger chance given up, and 1-2 zone starts. So, As for Kaapo Kahkonen's night, let's see. All situations. 34 saves on 41 shots, 369 expected goals against, 7 goals allowed, 829 save percentage, 5 high danger saves on 10 high danger shots, 8 mid danger saves on 10 mid danger shots, and 19 for 19 on the low danger. So you wonder if, because he's been so good, the high danger saves this year, you wonder if maybe that's starting to regress back to the mean, whether that's stamina, tired, whatever it is, regression. You're starting to kind of see that number come back. And this isn't we've seen that recently in some of these games. So the good is Mackenzie Black was expected to be back this week. I know he's been practicing. He said he had a minor groin tweak. I think that's what he mentioned at practice or at morning skate. So I would expect him to start either one of these games, or whether it's the Islanders or the Sens game on Saturday. But I would expect Mackenzie Blackwood to be back here soon. And then the hope is that maybe you can kind of give Kaapo Kahkonen a little bit of a rest right now, if he's still here. But you can kind of give him a little bit of rest because he's been kind of having to carry the load here. And I think we're starting to kind of see the wear and tear and the effects of him having to carry the load, especially with Mackenzie Blackwood hurt. So, yeah. If you want to have a major collapse, give up a bunch of high danger goals and don't produce any offense in the third period. And that's how it happens right there. So, yeah, let's put this game away because, yeah, I'm ready to talk about something else. So we'll talk about the trade deadline, the latest rumblings behind it, all that fun stuff here in just 1 minute. No matter how the last game went, anytime you take the field, you've got a shot at greatness. Give your team the best shot at winning by recruiting more MVPs with Indeed. If you're hiring, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. It is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applicants that meet your must-have requirements, or else you don't pay. Instead of spending hours on job sites hoping to find the right candidates with the right skills, you need one powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. Indeed partners with you on every step of the process. The great talent through time-saving tools like instant matching, assessment, and virtual interviews. And with Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor the post, you get a short list of quality candidates with resumes on Indeed that match your job descriptions, and you can invite them to apply right away. Plus, you only pay for quality applicants that meet your must-have requirements. So, join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your post at Indeed.com/lockedon. Offer valid through March 31st. Go to Indeed.com/lockedon and claim your $75 credit before March 31st. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. All right, let's get caught up on some of the latest rumblings and stuff. We'll start with Alexander Barabanov, who wants. There has been no progress in his contract talks. Wants to be traded to a contender. Maybe he gets traded. It's just like if you're trading Barabanov, you're probably not getting much, just because of how bad this season is. But it's been interesting that there hasn't been active contract talks not generating any traction. This is from David Bagnona, aka the fourth period. They're actually trying to move Barabanov. If the teams I've heard, that have been is like Tampa, something like that. I mean, you and I both know Barabanov is a good player. He's just having a miserable year, right? Barabanov the last 2 seasons was great, especially with Logan Couture. This year, just not the same guy. I expect him to be gone for basically, maybe if you get like a prospect back, or if you get like a late round pick, whatever. It's probably that's. Yeah, I don't expect Barabanov back. So I was, that 4x4 I talked about From what I told, Shang Peng tweeted, from what I was told, Eklund has helped off the ice all the way. Sharks practice tomorrow at noon. We'll get more of an update then. So again, hopefully we'll see. If Eklund's out for any period of time, just nuke this season. So sim to end of season, basically. All right. So Barabanov probably gone. Anthony Duclair, I still think he's kind of the Sharks' biggest ticket. You saw Mantha get traded to Vegas today. Mantha is a more of a two-way player, and he went for a second and a fourth. So I think a third-round pick is probably going to be a fair compensation for Anthony Duclair. Maybe the hot streak here helps his value a little bit, especially of teams. What team does not want a guy who can you see the speed, you see the forechecking ability, and the goal scoring, right? Duclair has done a lot of goal scoring for the Sharks recently. That was, if you go way back to kind of before, kind of during the All-Star break, what did I say? I said if Duclair can start finding goals, if you can get him into that kind of 15 range by the time he's done with the Sharks, you're probably going to feel better about your return. Anthony Duclair now at 16 goals this season, so leading the Sharks. Him and Zetterlund tied to lead the Sharks. So we'll see. There's plenty of teams that are looking for some of that scoring. I know Vegas just added a winger, but they have a lot of funny money now because Mark Stone is on LTIR until the playoffs, conveniently. Also, side note, like if the Sharks were in that position and they were doing it, you as Sharks fans would also be like, this is a smart, we're smarter than everybody else. Everybody does it. Like if you're in a position to do it, you just do it. So, but anyway, Mark Stone's out till the playoffs, and Anthony Duclair will be, he's a potential guy to look at right there. As there, I know the Rangers are looking for another scoring winger. You always trade him back to the Panthers, who need some more scoring as well. And he knows that system, et cetera, et cetera. I do not expect Anthony Duclair to be on this team come Friday afternoon. So speaking of Friday afternoon, we will be doing a live show at some point that afternoon, 1:32-ish Pacific time. So make sure you guys are kind of following along for that. So another interesting one, though, Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic mentioned Mikael Granlund. And he says playing top line minutes. He's been playing well, but the Sharks are trying to figure out a way they're trying to be creative to look at a potential trade. So if a team wants Mikael Granlund, they're looking at ways to make this happen, whether they take a bad contract back to help sweeten up the return, or they take, maybe there's a third team involved. I'm still interested to see what they do because, again, they only have one retention slot left, and Granlund is signed through next year for $5 million. But if you move Granlund and you move Duclair, you're not going to win a lot of games the rest of the season. One, and two, I think like those, like you could turning that Erik Karlsson trade makes it looking even better, right? Because you're taking those assets and the Granlund asset and making it into something else. So kind of adding to that trade tree. So we'll see. I still think moving Granlund is going to be really hard at the trade deadline. I think that's more of a summer time trade when teams can kind of reset. There's going to be more cap space. Maybe teams looking for a new third line center. If Granlund gets traded, I think it's more of a summertime trade, but it could still be something to happen. We'll see. Like, I don't expect if LeBanc gets traded, it's going to be for like a 7th round pick. If Mike Hoffman, I don't expect Mike Hoffman to get traded because I think that contract is just too hard to move right now. So I think and we'll see with Kaapo Kahkonen, who's played poorly now in the past couple games. I think a lot of teams would just point to the Sharks' general play. But I still have a hunch feeling that both Kaapo Kahkonen and Blackwood will be here. I just called a hunch. I don't know why. I just think they'll both be here after the trade deadline because I think it's kind of hard to bring in a goalie and kind of fit them into your system right away. But I do, like I said, I think Duclair is gone. It'll be interesting if I think Barabanov's gone too for a very low cost return. Yeah, and then maybe I think Luke Cunnin will be interesting if teams kind of come calling asking for a guy like Cunnin, who provides, can provide some grit, penalty kill, all that stuff that teams like if they want to kind of reassess their bottom six. So, but yeah, I expect Mike Grier to be really busy right now for the next couple days. So we'll make sure to have everything covered here at Locked On Sharks. Make sure you guys are following wherever you get podcasts, and of course you can watch on YouTube as well. Like I said, we'll be doing a live show on Friday after the trade deadline, kind of penciling like 1:30 Pacific time there. So we'll be doing a live show that gives plenty of time to breathe. And if I got to do stuff for the Locked On Network and make sure we have maybe get some lunch in there at some point, hopefully. So we'll pencil in 1:30, 2 o'clock. We'll do a live show then. So again, make sure you guys are following wherever you get podcasts. You can watch on YouTube as well. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.